Hi, welcome back to Mr. Raymond's Social Studies Academy, and wow, it has been a while since I made a new civics video. But for those of you who take the Civics EOC, the state changed the test on us. Regardless, today we'll be looking at the first two brand new benchmarks of the 2024 EOC exam. Topics 1.1 and 1.2, Influences on America's Constitutional Republic. Now, in this class, you are going to be introduced to many new vocabulary words. Do you actually know what a republic is? Yes, the United States is a republic. Most of you have spoken those words into the republic for which it stands during our pledge day after day in school, but I find many of my students don't know what a republic is. And if you don't either, don't feel bad. Many adults would have a hard time describing what a republic is. And that is the beauty of this class. Your vocabulary and your knowledge are going to expand greatly. So let's jump right in with our first benchmark, which tells us that you will need to be able to analyze the influences of ancient Greece, ancient Rome, the Judeo-Christian tradition, and all of these influences on how they'd helped develop America's constitutional republic. So let's break this down one by one. For this, we're going to go all the way back to around 600 BC to ancient Athens, known as the birthplace of democracy. Now, in Greek, demos means the people, and kratia, I'm sure I butchered the pronunciation, means power. So the word democracy translates literally to people power. Now, one of the influences from ancient Greece they want us to focus on is the concept of quote-unquote civic participation. And we'll come back to this phrase and many of the ones you see today in our lesson. But for now, think of civic participation as the people being involved in the political process. By granting the quote-unquote common man the right to vote, and yes, women were sadly left out, another thing that we'll come back to, but by allowing their citizens the right to vote, which spread to other city-states, ancient Greece was creating this concept of civic participation. Ancient Greece also gave us the concept of citizenship. The Greek word polis, where we get politics from, has evolved but came to mean a body of citizens under a city's legal jurisdiction. The ancient Romans developed the word civitas to mean citizen, as well as a number of ideals that they took from ancient Greece. Okay, so for our next benchmark, we're going to have to be able to compare and contrast these ancient political ideals to the U.S. government. So let's start with what we just talked about, the ancient Greek influence on civic participation in the United States. The U.S. political culture, citizens are highly encouraged to go out and vote, join interest groups or political parties, and get out there and get their civic participation on. Well, how else did the ancient Greeks influence America's constitutional republic? We talked about how they established a legislative or lawmaking process. And remember, whenever you hear legislation or legislative, that means laws. Greece also set the stage for quote-unquote republicanism. And there's that key term we discussed at the beginning, so let's get our definition. A republic is a state in which power is ideally held by the people and their elected representatives. I say ideally because there are states that call themselves republics, like the People's Republic of North Korea, which obviously is not a democratic republic, but by having elected representatives run the government, a concept only enhanced by the Romans, ancient Greece was laying the groundwork for republicanism. And that comparison is easy. What better connection to make? If a republic is ruled by elected representatives, Congress has the House of Representatives, and our Senate is filled with our representatives as well. But we see republicanism at state legislatures, city councils, and other levels of American government, and that's what makes us a republic. But remember, in the U.S., it is the Constitution that makes our republic work. And once again, we can look back to the ancient Greeks who developed constitutions for their city-states. And for now, again, think of a constitution as a plan for government. But we are going to spend so much time on the U.S. Constitution that you guys are going to know it inside and out, and you'll have a better idea of what a constitution is. Okay, so we spent all this time comparing. Let's spend a little time contrasting. While Athens did lay the groundwork for a republic, they were more of what's called a direct democracy, one that allows people to vote themselves on laws and policies. Now, some state governments do this, again, something we'll talk about later, but not the U.S. government. We elect the people to serve in the U.S. Congress, and they are the ones who actually vote on the laws themselves. Now, when looking at Roman influences, and for those, we want to really look at the period before they became an empire and were the Roman Republic. The Roman Republic had a Senate. Hey, we have a Senate. That was a representative governing body. Now, we can contrast that one right away because the representatives to Rome's Senate were what's known as oligarchs. An oligarchy is ruled by a few, usually the wealthy. And it was the wealthy families that dominated Rome's Senate. Now, we sometimes criticize our politicians for looking out for wealthy special interests, and many politicians at the national level do have a lot of money, but certainly not all. Our representatives come from a wide, diverse background, and that would never have happened in ancient Rome's Senate. Another contrast with the Roman Republic is that they didn't have a president. They had two councils with executive, legislative, and judicial power, but they needed the support of the Senate. And here we get another concept we're going to spend a lot of time on called separation of powers. By making different branches of government share power, there is less chance that power will be abused. And hey, look, we took it a step further and divided governmental power into 3 branches. Again, the goal of this is to avoid tyranny. This is another word that you're going to see a lot this year, so let's take a closer look. Tyranny is cruel and abusive rule, and a tyrant is a ruler who commits those abusive acts. The other key term you need to know is oppression. Basically the same thing, but more often in context with having rights denied. All right, we are cranking along. Stay with it. You're doing great. So in our next benchmark, explain how the Judeo-Christian ethical ideas of justice, individual worth, personal responsibility, and the rule of law influence America's constitutional republic. Now, we had a similar benchmark in the past, but this has been moved up to the front of the standards, so the state definitely wants you to be familiar with this stuff. At the same time, this test is new, so we haven't seen many practice questions for this benchmark, but we push forward anyway. Regarding Judeo-ethical ideas about justice, we can turn to what's referred to as Israelite law, a code of laws established in the Roman province of Judea near present-day Jerusalem. They established a legislative and judicial system in an attempt to lower crime and promote moral behavior. And I think moral is a word you want to keep an eye out for. The Ten Commandments, the Old Testament, these all laid the foundation for the Judeo legal system. For the Christian aspect, we have the Justinian Code. Right before the fall of the Roman Empire, Christianity had begun to spread throughout. When the Roman Empire fell, the ruler of the new Eastern Holy Roman Empire, located in Constantinople, which is named after the first Catholic Roman emperor, the Justinian Code was based on hundreds of years of Roman laws and precedents. And Justinian kept those alive. And the Justinian Code became part of church law at the time, known as canon law. There's a sculpture of Justinian that hangs in the U.S. Capitol today. So what are our takeaways from Judeo-Christian influence? They certainly can influence our concept known as rule of law, which we'll define in a minute, and systems of laws that promote moral behavior. And now, I know you're getting tired, but we're just going to end by reviewing some key terms that are really going to help you out in your following lessons. And I'm going to go through them pretty fast because you will be defining them again, but hit pause if you need the definition now. Let's start by defining what your test is talking about when they mention quote-unquote founding documents. And when they do that, they are talking about the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution, the U.S. Bill of Rights, maybe throw in the Articles of Confederation. But our first ideal is due process. The phrase is going to come up in several lessons, but what is it? Well, for now, we'll define due process as fair treatment of the citizens by the government, with them following all legal protection that citizens are entitled to, aka your rights. Next up is equality of mankind. And this is a new concept, but it is a topic we will examine closely with the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Law, the Declaration of Independence statement that all men are created equal. Limited government is just what it sounds like. Our rulers should not have unlimited powers. Constitutions, laws, precedents, those are what should guide their actions. Natural rights are ones that every human should be entitled to without the need for a government to spell it out. Or as Thomas Jefferson said, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The rule of law is the concept that all citizens must obey the same laws, including lawmakers and governmental leaders. Every American is bound by the same law. And we're going to end today's lesson with the final question posed for us in this benchmark, which is, quote unquote, why is religious liberty a right? And you probably already know the answer to this. There were a good number of Europeans during colonial era who escaped Europe for religious persecution. In those days, most of Europe was ruled by absolute monarchs who chose a religion for their states and their people. And the founding fathers and framers of the Constitution and Bill of Rights put freedom of religion as the first part of the First Amendment, stating that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. And that's it for our first two benchmarks. Up next, we'll be looking at additional influences on the Founding Fathers, so be sure to subscribe. And teachers, just a reminder that this PowerPoint with a wide variety of materials and additional resources are available at Teachers Pay Teachers. Just click the link below this video or search for Mr. Raymond's Social Studies Academy at Teachers Pay Teachers. Again, guys, thanks for watching. We're all going to ace that exam.